Hello and welcome to Startup Gippsland Live, a place where both budding and established regional founders can feel right at home. We're here to inspire you to take the path less travelled, to make your idea a reality, and most of all, to hone your entrepreneurial skills so that you can grow and scale your business and realise your potential. Get ready for this episode of Startup Gippsland Live. Now here's your host, Zoe Doyle.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Startup Gippsland Live. I'm your host, Zoe Doyle, and today I'm talking to the fabulous Hayley Scott, who owns 3 businesses in the Gippsland region. Self-confessed serial entrepreneur, Hayley is a business development coach committed to driving change and helping others. She has dedicated the last 9 years to building successful businesses, developing her team, and investing in her business education. Determined to make an impact, Hayley has spent the last 2 years mentoring small businesses Australia-wide, which led to her discovering her passion for helping other business owners succeed. The recent announcement of her new coaching business has made a splash among local businesses keen for her perspective. Wow, Hayley, I am so excited to sit down with you today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honour to be here. I really appreciate it.
And it's so great to finally put a face to a name as well, because we see all your businesses dotted along this street where our office is, so it's fabulous.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, well, let's get right into it because I have a lot of juicy questions to ask you today. So, Hayley, you currently own and operate 3 businesses in Gippsland: Dear Blackbird Boutique, The Marigold Merchant, and Amante Bridal. Tell us a little about your entrepreneurial journey so far and how these businesses came to life.
Wow, it definitely has been a journey, that's for sure. When I finished school, I did my chef's apprenticeship. And so I didn't go into business or uni. I started out as a chef, and it just wasn't the right environment for me to thrive in. And it's a very male-dominated industry, and it just wasn't the right fit for me. And so I decided to take a bit of a break and catch my breath. And I was like, I'll just get a job in retail and see, just work through Christmas, and then I might go back and study or something like that. And so I got a job at my favourite shop at the time, which was Ishka in Fountain Gate, as a Christmas casual. And but I ended up staying on for years and moved up into a management role. Wow. And I just loved it. I really thrived on pretty much being on the other side of the kitchen, more of a customer front-facing position, and really thrived with customer experience. And I felt like that's where I was supposed to be. And I don't remember the exact moment, but I went to Europe and did a backpacking trip. Yep. And I came back, and I honestly don't know why, but I was just like, do you know what? I'm gonna open up my own shop, because I loved clothing and loved fashion. I used to travel to the city all the time to go shopping and chatty and all that sort of stuff. And there was nothing locally that really resonated with me, so I thought that's what I'm gonna do. And everyone told me it was crazy. Like, people close to me were like, don't do it, it's the worst time to start retail, or a business in general. Just don't do it. You don't know what you're doing. But my dad sat me down and he was like, love, if anyone can do it, you can do it. Go for it. I've got you.
Good on you, Dad.
So he sort of gave me that push of confidence to be like, okay, I'm going to give it a go, and worst case, it doesn't work out, and I'll just try something different. Yeah. And I had a bit of a bumpy road to start with. Like, I didn't just, everything wasn't smooth sailing. I got stooged out of my first retail space and was left with all this product, and was at risk of losing the brands that I'd secured. And it was, really, I was desperately trying to find somewhere. And then I met 2 angels, Kerry and Michelle, who had a gift store in Druin, and they offered me half of their space to rent out. And that was just the beginning. Wow. And so I stayed there for a year and a half, and then moved into Warragul, got a space in Warragul, and then slowly started building a team and to support me while I was there. I then decided to start a little bit of a passion project, which was started out just doing a little bit of bridal, which really took off. And then I created Amante Bridal. And then over time, I started getting this love for homewares, and I was like, what open up a homeware store. And then my dad again was like, love, great idea, you've got this. And so he again was like, yeah, do it, you've got it. And so then opened up the Marigold Merchant, and then each store we moved and scaled into bigger stores, and I built my team, and then now I'm creating that space to be able to help other small businesses, build their dreams as well, which is really cool. So yeah, that sort of sums it up.
How inspiring. And yeah, I bet you showed all those people who said you couldn't do it.
I still have some people close to me, they're like, do you know what, I still eat my words,
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to, sometimes having just one person believe in you is all you need to really be like, yes, I can do this, It sounds like a cliche, but very, very true, I think,
100%. And I'd love to segue off topic for just one moment. Well, it is on topic, but it's not part of my questions that I had for you. But how do you balance working on versus in your business?
I am a serial planner. Like, I love planning out my day, and I always do it in advance. So I plan for tomorrow, today. So I'll always know what I'm doing for the week. So that's one element of it, and having a really supportive, strong team who's really on target and on mission to know what their roles are. I think clarity with roles is really important when you do have a team, so that you can step up and out. But I do love being in the business, so around Christmas time I generally inject myself back in, but I'm very conscious of not stepping on their toes, so I really sort of take on that casual role, like Christmas casual role, where I'm stepping in and helping customers, because I really love being on the floor, but you can't scale a business being in the business all the time. So I am very mindful of where I spend my time and energy, and that's pretty much.
I love that. And it sounds like your team are very lucky, because you definitely sound like you give them the space that they need to flourish in their own roles as well.
I am passionate about developing people just as much as businesses. So it goes hand in hand.
Absolutely, it does. It really does. Most people don't realise till they start a business just how much personal development comes into it.
Yeah, for sure. Within yourself as well. I feel like that's where I've had significant personal growth within myself and my relationships, in the workplace and out of the workplace. It's just two different sides for sure. Yeah, that's very cool.
Amazing. So tell us, what have been some of your greatest business successes over the past 5 years, and what's been some of your biggest lessons?
There's been many of both, and I think quite often they go hand in hand actually. Like, I think through some of your greatest lessons come some of your greatest successes. For me especially, some of my biggest lessons was that you just can't do it all. I had all these really big dreams of opening more businesses or scaling, but I'm just one person, I can't do it all. And so I think that lesson of having to let go and step back a little bit and let someone else make the decisions or take on the responsibility, that was a big lesson for me, but then allowed me to sort of build upon some of my greatest successes, which is growing the businesses and moving them to new and bigger, better spaces. And so that would be definitely one of them. Also, I think when I think of my greatest successes that I'm most proud of, so many look great on a paper, but the ones that I feel most proud about is really around people and that people development, like building a team, and the team that I've got, they're just amazing, and they just inspire me every day, and I'm just in awe of them. I think they, having the right people in the right roles is really important. There's this business saying of, they may be, you've got to have them on the right seat of the bus. So some people might be perfect culture fit, and you're like, yes, they're amazing for this business, but they're not thriving in that role, but they may just be on the wrong seat. So it's being able to look at what their strengths are and how because people will thrive in areas that they love and are good at. So being able to take a step back and not just put someone in there because you need that role filled, really thinking, are they the right person for that role? Are they going to thrive? Because if they're not thriving, I'm not thriving. So there's some of the around that personal development and developing people and teams is been many lessons, but many successful moments as well. So there's some of the the ones that stick to me. And I think also, we're not a financially driven company, but we do have a lot of really, we have some big missions and goals that we want to achieve, which naturally needs money to grow and scale.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we've been able to grow in revenue and profit year on year, every year since starting business, I think is really cool. You know, it's quite often you see people go up and down, especially with a ridiculous, crazy pandemic that we're going through.
Absolutely.
You know, that's, I think, a testament to my team for sure, and just the way that we all work together, and being driven to the same focus and mission, I think, has allowed us to be able to scale up that trajectory. So, yeah.
Good on you. I love it. I want to be on your team. I'll go back to my old retail days. It sounds amazing. So you recently announced that you were shifting your focus toward business coaching and supporting other entrepreneurs. So how did this all come about, and why are you so passionate about helping business owners realise their potential?
Well, it's always been something. I've always loved helping people. Contribution is one of my highest values, and through the businesses, always look for ways to help make a difference, like a positive impact. And we've implemented a lot of social structures within the business of how we can help more people, make a big impact, spread some awareness about some of the causes that we're most passionate about. But I've always had this feeling like I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Like there's been so much heartache in the world, and I'm such an empath, and I'm just like absorbing it all. And I was thinking, you know, I'm so proud of what we're achieving and the difference that we are making, but I just felt such a strong burn to do more. And you know, I was listening to the news one day last year. I was just so emotional hearing about, you know, it was a scenario that I heard on the news, and it really broke my heart, and I got emotional, and I said to my partner, I just want to help more people, and I don't know how to do this, and like what do I do? Like, I feel so helpless.
Yeah.
And so he's like, let's sit down, let's just brainstorm. What, you know, how can you help more people? What can you do? And we spoke about, you know, what are my skills in what areas? Like I would think, you know, well, I'm not a nurse, I can't go and help, or, you know, things like that is where I was going. I was like, I can't do this, I can't do that. And he's like, yeah, but you know how to build businesses and monetize passions. How can you use that skill set to help others? And, you know, we started sort of thinking some of the areas that I get most impacted by is in women who are victims of conflict and things like that, and who are fleeing conflict situations, and started thinking, well, how can I use my skill to help those women? And so I started thinking, well, maybe I can look at using my business skills to help those women monetize a skill or a passion so that they can become financially independent. And so that was sort of like lit a real fire in my belly, where I'm like, yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to develop these programs, I'm going to help these people. And then that's such a long, it's such a large goal, and it's something that you can't just do overnight. It's something that needs to be built and research and development. And then I started thinking, well, if I can, and you know, you wanted to tap into the right groups and networks and things like that. And I thought, well, how can I, if I can help these women, like, who else can I help with this skill set? And then started thinking, well, you know, I've been mentoring small businesses for a couple of years, and I thought that they're not dealing with the same issues, but there's still a lot of fear and a lot of financial dependence in that area as well. So I started thinking, okay, well, I can start helping other small businesses monetize as well. Or entrepreneurs who want to start up and things like that. And it just sort of, my ideas started snowballing that direction. And then once you say it out loud, you get it out in the universe. And then within a short period of time, I ended up having a small business reach out to me asking if I could be their coach.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that happened faster than I was originally planning. That
was meant to be.
And then I said yes, and then I had someone else, and then it was, I feel like once, you know, people speak, and then I was building some momentum there, and I thought, wow, okay, this is these people need help now. So that's sort of where it started.
Yeah.
So it's been it's only been a short time, and I haven't done any advertising or anything. It's been a strict word of mouth process.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm excited to open up more spaces to help more people. Yeah.
But word of mouth always speaks volumes in business, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. So it sounds like it's going to be absolutely amazing for you. I'm
you.
so excited
Me too.
to keep an eye on what you're up to, because that's fantastic. Yeah. So what are some of the barriers that you see entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs face when it comes to growing their business or getting started?
Well, some of the most common ones that I feel, things such as burnout, limiting beliefs, and also that fear of letting go. And I think most of the time, if you're experiencing one, you're probably experiencing all three, or have at some point. I know for me, I've experienced all three multiple times in my time in business, and probably life in general, to be honest. But I think that they're the most common ones, and they can show up in so many different areas. And I know a small business owner, and so many that I know, you know, for so long we've worn this they talk about that badge of honor of being busy, like busy is a badge of honor. And,
yes.
you know, it is a real, it sort of pigeonholes you into feeling like, oh, if I don't feel busy, I'm not working hard enough. You know, and it's a real trap. Like I felt like that for many, many years, and I didn't have any hobbies, didn't have any free time. I'd just be like, any moment I had, I'd be like, if I'm not working on this business, I'm just not working hard enough. You know, and that was from my dad's the hardest worker I know, and that was probably from watching him work so hard, and his way of showing love was working hard, and so I naturally followed in those footsteps. You know, making Dad proud was working hard. And I think a lot of small business owners are in a really similar position. And then that sort of snowballs into that limiting beliefs of, if I'm not working hard, I'm not, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not going to be successful.
Yep.
And that shows up in so many different ways of maybe that fear of failure, or fear of what people are going to think, and now that snowballs, and then that snowballs onto not being able to let go in the business and feeling like you need to do it all, and not just stepping back and letting your team step into their power. I think that it's all sort of meshed together, and is a real, it's just something that I see a lot with a lot of business owners. So yeah, hoping that we can sort of help some of those business owners sort of step back and be like, you know, working smarter, like how can I work smarter, or delegating, or whether even something needs to be done. You know, I've used to find myself doing stuff, even though it probably didn't need to be done, because I was like, but I got to do something. Like, you know, and it's a real vicious cycle, that hamster wheel. So they're the ones that I see most common with business owners.
As someone who ran a small business locally for about 5 years, I can 100% relate to everything that you're saying. Burnout was a very real, very cyclical thing for me. Yep, happened 3-4 times a year. And that's where, you know, that letting go, because it stops us from working on the business. When you become so engrossed in everything that you're doing, you can't see the bigger picture, or you can't take stock and think, well, why isn't this working? Because you're just too close to it. So you've got to have that space to step back and really assess. And the personal development mindset chats that we've been having today have been very common amongst all of our speakers so far. Which is really exciting, because it shows people like just how important that stuff really is.
It is, and it's not a gimmick. I think, you know, it's easy in this time when social media's everywhere, and you know, for a while there it was like hustle, and that's what was on everyone's feeds, was you got to hustle, you know, get up, get Monday done. And now it's just not like that. It's about being able to take that time. And for me, if I'm really honest, it's still a struggle. Like, I still have to, mine's a very conscious, not all the time, but, you know, it can often be a really conscious decision that I have to make to step back and just do nothing, or do something that's going to fill my cup, because I am a very driven person, and I see opportunities in so many different areas. So for me, it's really hard to take that step back consistently. You know, it's so that I think for anyone listening, it's not something that happens overnight. I think it's just a work in progress, and it's something that you just have to be, I think, creating that awareness and becoming okay with it. And for me, like, I had to have that conversation with my dad, because him and I are very alike, and he's such an inspiring person for me, and I always just wanted to make him proud.
Yeah.
To have to be able to say to him that I needed that time for myself, and I needed to be able to have a day off, and like, he's just like an energized bunny, like.
Yeah.
So, you know, everyone needs different things too, and I think knowing what you need, like, some people need more downtime. We're not all the same. So some of us need more, some need less, and I think it's about having some of those courageous conversations with the people in your circle, if you are all like that, because it's, you know, they always said that, you know, you are the company you keep, and that can work in both ways. So it can be amazing being with all these inspiring, driven people, but everyone feeds off that energy of go. So it's just, taking that foot off the pedal a little bit and just cruising for a bit.
I'd love to ask, what are some of the things that you do to, like, switch off and just fill your own cup?
I go to yoga. Yoga's, for me, was the start of it. So I go to Visva Yoga in Druin, and they were amazing. They have such a beautiful space, and it was, for me, that was the first step, because I didn't know yoga, so I'm like, I have to focus on these poses, you know, whereas normally if you're doing, like, going for a walk, you're still thinking.
Yeah.
So for me, I had to, like, focus on my breathing, and that really helped me. I've always found meditation a real struggle to get into, and I know that's just, again, a work in progress and a fast mind, but spending time with my family and friends, and being a chef, I used to love cooking, but then it became something that caused me stress, you know, and then being in business, I didn't allow time for that. It was just, you know, we'd have the spaghetti on rotation, the taco night, you know, anything that you require thinking.
I know the feeling.
And then when I was looking for things to bring, like, I was like, when I was going through this transition of creating that awareness for myself and really looking at how I had been working in business, I was like, I don't even know what brings me joy. Like, outside of family, I'm like, what the hell makes me happy? Other than business.
Apart from work,
and because I was creating businesses around things that made me happy.
Yeah.
You know, like clothing and looking at bridal stuff and homewares and things like that. And so I started thinking about, someone had suggested to me, what did you used to do when you were a kid for fun? And then that sort of made me, doing those things again, triggered me back into that state of just joy. So I love cooking. Like, I got myself a Thermomix, which was like the best thing. It made me such a better, happier person. And started doing the things that used to bring me joy. And I love going on bushwalks and things like that. So it's just the little things. Like, they don't have to be big things. You don't need to find yourself new hobbies. It's just getting back to your core, I think, and what really fills your cup genuinely, not just what looks good on Instagram. You know, that can be something a lot of people tend to focus on as well. So, yeah.
I love that. Very, very wise words, Hayley. And I think something we can all relate to is, you know, because then, you know, it does cause that flow-on effect where we know that we have to slow down and step away from the business, but then we put pressure on ourselves to find something to do.
Yeah, I've got to get the balance.
Yeah. And then that just becomes not fun anymore as well.
Absolutely.
So it's really just stepping back into your roots, really, and yourself. And
and I think removing the society's expectations or standards of what it is, that can offer somebody who was around before Instagram, you know, it's easy for me to reflect back at that time, whereas I feel for the younger entrepreneurs coming up that all they've known is what's on their grid. And I think that comparison is the thief of joy, and there's been, you know, never been more comparison than what there is now with social media, and just constantly reminding yourself that grid is the highlight reel of people's lives. So, you know, everyone's got their ups and downs, and you know, you just got to do what's right for you, I think, all the time.
That's right. I wholeheartedly agree. And I have to say, the happiest I've ever been was when I stopped posting on social media.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that
obviously,
a lot from a lot of people, actually.
obviously I do social media for my business and I love it.
Yeah.
But in terms of sharing like my personal life, I think I looked back the other day and I hadn't done a post since like 2020.
Yeah.
Or end of 2019, something like that. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah, I'm the same. Obviously in business you need to have social media. It is a crucial element of business in 2022.
Definitely.
But yeah, being able to remove yourself, and also not only that, but if you know, it's something that it's a productivity issue too, being in business, and because you do have to have that page, and then so many business owners I know just get down this rabbit hole because they go to post something on their business page and then all of a sudden an hour's gone and they're on their own feed. So it's being able to use it to your advantage, not disadvantage.
Yeah, I feel like for me as well, not posting as much personal content has meant that I'm no longer seeking validation on any platform. So you know, I'm not worried about how many likes we're getting on a certain post on the Startup Gippsland page, you know, like, because it is just a natural cyclical thing that, you know, ebbs and flows, and that's really helped me, and I'm sure other people can agree as well. Yeah.
I think we'll probably see more people disconnecting from those social platforms as well. So it'll be interesting to see how those platforms play out over the next couple of years, I think.
Yeah, definitely. They do have a very important place, don't get me wrong, but
they can definitely, I think it can be used for amazing things, like, oh gosh, but not all the time.
Very, very interesting. God, we got juicy, didn't we? So Hayley, my final question, what's next for you and your businesses, and do you have any plans to scale or expand your current offerings and products?
Well, I've always got plans.
I'm sure you do.
I do. I actually always do have plans, but I am really excited for this year. I recently made the decision to put a Mante bottle on the market to be able to free up space and time for myself to open up more spaces for coaching clients and to start developing that program for at-risk women. That's where I'm feeling really excited about that. It was a bit of a decision for me because I've never let anything go I've held on to. Like, you know, my heart's in each of those businesses.
Yeah, it's one of your babies.
It is, but I'm really excited to be able to give the opportunity to somebody else to step in to that amazing industry and really thrive in their own space. Like, I'm really excited for that person, you know, to welcome that person in. So, and to be able to help, like, I'm still on the streets. I feel comfortable knowing that I'm just around the corner. You know, and I am, because I haven't opened up to other businesses just yet. So I'm excited to be able to create the space for them to be able to join me on their journey. And
that's so exciting. And remind us all listening, what is your business name?
So the Greenhouse Club is actually my company name, which I did create before the business coaching started. So when I started my company, the Greenhouse Club was, for me, it was about how, because it houses all three businesses, it was about housing businesses and growing and nurturing them. So it seems fitting to carry on with the business in that sense as well. Yeah, having that same ideals behind them. So
I love that, and it sounds like many people can benefit from you and your years of knowledge and expertise. Like, just sitting down with you today, I'm so inspired. Thank you so much, because no doubt there are very exciting things in your future. So thank you for joining us, Hayley.
Thank you for having me. I've had a blast. I'm hoping that this helps anyone listening, even just a little bit.
I am sure it will. There was a lot of really good gems in there, that's for sure. So guys listening, if you'd like to get in touch with Hayley, you can do so via email, hayley@thegreenhouseclub.com.au. So that's all for today, folks. Be sure to tune into the next episode where I sit down with the Startup Gippsland regular who's always out there to get us pumped up and ready to take action. Until then, keep dreaming big, taking action, following your entrepreneurial pursuits, and showing the world that the best ideas can come from the smallest of backyards.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Startup Gippsland Live. Please be sure to subscribe, and if you're enjoying the show, we'd love for you to leave us a review. We can't wait to have you tune in again soon. For more great resources and business tips, make sure you head over to our website, startupgippsland.com.au, your home for Gippsland entrepreneurs.